must miss me terribly to bring me here at such expense.
Perceptive creature, Mara dear. But this is business. Ivankov has decided to go into business for himself.
I warned you the man was another Stalin. There is nothing I can do.
You and I are much alike. We use things until we are bored, and then...
All right, Mihai. I will deal with him, if I can find him.
It shouldn't be difficult. The new virus appears rather unstable, but Ivankov does not seem to care. He has someone making the rounds, selling it anyway. We won't know where he's going next. But we'll know where he's been.
Where's Broussard? Has anyone seen Broussard?
Events are becoming complicated. The Carthage Health Authority is not cooperating. At this moment, I am waiting to interview Broussard. If my suspicions prove correct, we may all be in grave danger. My preliminary findings suggest...
That was Majari's final report. His cell phone went dead 4 hours ago. Gabe?
Thanks, Teresa. All right. I'm sending Amani with another team to Carthage to find him. Stone, you investigate the outbreak in Italy. Leon and I will go to Uganda.
Everyone will be briefed individually on their assignments. That's it.
Hey, you guys? I know you don't want to hear it, but I need information as soon as you get it. Check in once in a while.
That means you, Stone.
Whatever you say, darling.
I'll make sure he pipes in.
Thanks, Alima. Get going.
What?
Leave Imani alone.
What are you standing around for? Head to your locker and get loaded up. Weapons checked before you board my chopper, so your gear better shine.
One more thing. Each of you were handpicked to join this team. This threat is growing. We're the only ones who have a chance to stop it. I'm counting on you. Thanks.
The new virus appears rather unstable.
This threat is growing.
The situation has changed. This thing is out of control.
Events are becoming complicated.
Ivankov has decided to go into business for himself.
We may all be in grave danger.
Let's take him out.
Threat of global biological war. Of course, affect us all.
We're the only ones who have a chance to stop it.
Oh, damn. someone's running a deep-sea salvage operation.
There are always opportunities, Mr. Logan. Always.
That is the deal. Take it or leave it. All right, Zohar.
Gabe, you can't. You're gonna jeopardize the entire agency.
This is something I have to do myself.
This is gonna push him over the edge.
I can't be touched, and you know it.
I failed. We are all Someone's behind this. That's Russia, the White Tower. Leon, you go to Tokyo. Take Amani with you. Stone, you're with me. Someone's behind this.
You must miss me terribly to bring me here at such expense.
Perceptive creature, Mara dear. But this is business. Ivankov has decided to go into business for himself.
I warned you the man was another Stalin. There is nothing I can do.
You and I are much alike. We use things until we are bored, and then...
All right, Mihai. I will deal with him, if I can find him.
It shouldn't be difficult. The new virus appears rather unstable. But Ivankov does not seem to care. He has someone making the rounds, selling it anyway. We won't know where he's going next. But we'll know where he's been.
Where's Broussard? Has anyone seen Broussard?
Events are becoming complicated. The Carthage Health Authority is not cooperating. At this moment, I am waiting to interview Broussard. If my suspicions prove correct, we may all be in grave danger. My preliminary findings suggest
That was Mujari's final report. His cell phone went dead 4 hours ago. Gabe?
Thanks, Teresa. All right. I'm sending Amani with another team to Carthage to find him. Stone, you investigate the outbreak in Italy. Leon and I will go to Uganda.
Everyone will be briefed individually on their assignments. That's it.
Hey, you guys? I know you don't want to hear it, but I need information as soon as you get it. Check in once in a while.
That means you, Stone.
Whatever you say, darling.
I'll make sure he pipes in.
Thanks, Alima. Get going.
What?
Leave Imani alone.
What are you standing around for? Head to your locker and get loaded up. Weapons checked before you board my chopper, so your gear better shine.
One more thing. Each of you were handpicked to join this team. This threat is growing. We're the only ones who have a chance to stop it. I'm counting on you. Thanks.
The new virus appears rather unstable.
This threat is growing.
The situation has changed. This thing is out of control.
Events are becoming complicated.
Ivankov has decided to go into business for himself.
We may all be in grave danger.
Let's take him out.
Threat of global biological war. Of course, affect us all.
We're the only ones who have a chance to stop it.
Oh, damn. Someone's running a deep-sea salvage operation.
There are always opportunities, Mr. Logan. Always.
That is the deal. Take it or leave it.
All right, Zohar.
Gabe, you can't. You're gonna jeopardize the entire agency.
This is something I have to do myself.
This is gonna push him over the edge.
You know it.
I failed.
We're all going to die.
Someone's behind this. Leon, you go to Tokyo. Take Amani with you. Stone, you're with me. Someone's behind this.
Alright, this is the last trailer, and then it'll go into the speedrun after this. And then it'll loop back to this after the speedrun, but it's like an hour and 15 minutes, so... Happy New Year, and give me just another minute as the speedrun starts while I just check my audio levels and such. And here we go. So yeah, this was my 7th place submission from last year. This is what I did last January, and right there, already less optimal. Whole lot of stuff that happens right away, so... I forgot my keyboard wasn't plugged in. So anyway, let me give myself a few seconds to cut into it because I forgot I was just going to get right there. So as I've mentioned before, the speedrun runs on a bit of a technicality at the very beginning. There's a glitch you can implement. Basically, you load into the first mission, you watch the FMV, and then you quit the game to the title screen to reload the mission and then start your timer for the speedrun. And that forces the game to skip the intro cinematic. And a weird property of that can be applied to the speedrun is in missions where it jumps straight from the blue briefing screen to a black screen to the in-game cinematic, not the pre-rendered FMV. It can read the circle input early on. So that's what you're supposed to do. Right here I've already set up the glitch, so you'll see it go from the briefing screen straight into the game cinematic. You're supposed to be holding circle as you skip through this little part right here, so hold circle here. And then right here you'll roll, the car will blow up as you're already moving, so it puts you literally like 2 or 3 steps ahead. It's one of those micro saves, but it's critical right at the beginning. You're gonna see me do this a lot. It's called the palette swap. It's necessary for a few like glitches and a few other things in it, but I do it largely as like a stylistic thing. But I've adapted most of the speedrun to it. This first objective could even give you some trouble if you're not used to it, because these ones with the bombs and the mobs that spawn around them, there's a lot of different logic at play with them. The number that spawn, where they spawn, the order they spawn, the proximity to you and everything else, and the checkpoint. The way that I do it, I kill the one guy on the go in, I turn around and get the other guy with the headshot, and that forces, you know, as long as he spawns with another dude, that'll force another guy to spawn in through the walkway, and as long as I kill him, it forces the checkpoint as I cross through the threshold. The way you'll see it on some other runs is that they'll hang back in that corridor before actually leaving the bank until they get the checkpoint, because otherwise it won't force it, and they'll fail the objective, effectively forcing you to restart the speedrun this early. The Kravitz headshot is much easier than that too. You're just supposed to be locking onto him and then go from the lock-on straight into the headshot.
I'll trace it.
But as you can see, I didn't get it too good right there. And this was like the second run of the night, I remember. I had already done like a whole run. I'd invested maybe like... I'd gotten like maybe an hour in and then maybe just like flopped horribly, or it might have been one of the ones that I finished. I don't remember the actual stream. And I haven't been able to match this time since. All the run or two that I got before this one were both about 90 minutes, and the couple of runs that I've gotten since then, you know, in like that same month, the days after this, same thing, was about an hour 29, an hour 30. I couldn't match my own hour 17 time. That's another problem right there. Jeremy, I call that guy. Most people just do what you just saw me do with them, but I had a way already to kind of circumvent them, but I guess I just didn't do it too well here. I've gotten better at that as well. So this early segment, there's not a whole lot to do, especially compared to now versus this, because I've refined it a lot more. As far as like my own personal tweaks and such, none of it really applies to this outside of like my stylistic stuff, like I said.
CBDC to get its guys down
But
there.
I do think I finally found a good rhythm to one of the objectives coming up in this next mission, the one where you have to shut down a gas main. That one right there, as a matter of fact, that we're running past. But there's a problem with it. I think you'll see me fail it, actually. I think I try to go for it and I fail. I lose a lot of time on stage 2 in this run. Because I die on the ledge climbing part as well, which that's a pretty bad checkpoint because you have to climb all the way back up again. It's crazy to me that I couldn't match this time, considering I made like 2 or 3 pretty substantial mistakes, even just early on. But yeah, the way you're usually supposed to do it is you would go plant a C4 on a door so that CBDC can make their way through. And then after that objective is complete, once you've cleared fire and such, then you would run back, hit the gas main, and then run back again to exit the stage. But the optimized speedrun strat is to hit the C4, run all the way back to the gas main, hit it, and then let the objective clear itself. But it's very peculiar, you know, I guess the loading zones for it, the spawn zones, and it's very easy to just, you know, fail the objective right there. But I think I finally found a good rhythm as to how to do it. I don't think I could get it on 1 in this one if I got it at all. We're about to see.
That should be all the C4 you need to blow open that passage.
You're gonna see me die right here because I mess up the ledge skip, which is what you see me doing every time I go into first person when I'm climbing. It's normally not that big of a consequence, but as you can see, we're going all the way up here, and I make it to the very end, to the top, and I go for the ledge skip too early, right on this next one, and here's where I fall. Because right there, if you do it too early, you fall back down, and that was high enough to kill me. And that's a bad checkpoint, because look at that, at 503. Or like 502 is when I hit and died, and it takes, you know, all this time to go back up there. And like I said, I think I fail an objective again here with that C4 skip. It basically just has to do with like the proximity, how far away you are when you turn into the gas main, how far away you are when you turn back. Because if you whip the camera right back around, you'll like fail. Which is something I picked up on with those base bunker stages trying to sneak around people. You can avoid a lot of detection flags if you just don't look in their direction, because then they won't spawn in basically. Ooh, and I fucked up right there. You have to be real quick with it. That slight hesitation is probably what costed me here.
CBDC is on their way in.
Yeah. Like literally, you hesitate even a second on the turnaround with that like you saw me do, and it just won't work. I don't know that I went for it again. Let's refresh my memory here. But again, I think I figured out the rhythm exactly, you know, where to toe the line, when and where to turn, when and where to snap back around. I've gotten it pretty consistently almost every time that I've tried it since then, or since I found my little method. We'll see. Wish me luck, you know, on the run itself, which it'll start proper tomorrow, but tomorrow, what will probably be like 12 hours from now, I'll probably just run this first stage group, everything up to Gerdu, because that usually only takes me about 20-30 minutes anyway, and I've gotten pretty good at it.
Leon, I found the gas main. I'm shutting it down.
And see, I did it that time. But of course, you know, too little too late after failing the first time and dying to get there to begin with. If you'll notice, the difference, I think, there was that I turned closer to that second blue pole on the drop down. That seems to be the trick. Love that guy. And then this Mara, I did really bad because I didn't really understand it. Like I was explaining with the beginning of the stage, or at the beginning of the run, on stages where it goes from the briefing straight to the in-game cinematic, which this mission does, you're supposed to hold circle immediately after pressing X. So once this disappears, I should already be holding circle, and as she's running, you'll roll, and when I go for the headshot, she's still running into place, which makes it so much easier. It gives you a jump start to begin with, and you don't have to struggle like I did right there because you see the path she's running. I've even gotten her before she gets into position. I've hit her like once or twice while she's rolling into, you know, her spot right there.
Leon, I'm on my way to the park.
And as far as learning the speedrun goes, I would agree with probably everybody else in this stage being the one that this is the first really hard stage. Those first 3 stages up to this point, they all have some trickery to get used to, especially if you want to learn the purely optimal route. But this mission gets bad. Like I said in that first one, these bombs can get real particular.
They're on their way. Stand by.
So for this first one, you want to tag it. You don't want to pass the line right there, because then that dude won't spawn, and he needs to spawn so you can do that. You can shoot him and ignore the other guys. If that guy doesn't spawn and you try to run past anyway, those other 2 guys will kill CBDC. So it's little things like that. Same thing in that bank mission. If you don't do it exactly the way you saw me do it, where the 4 guys spawn and you kill 2 of them, if only 3 guys spawn or something else, you have to hang back for like 3 seconds behind the threshold of where the checkpoint usually is. Otherwise, it forces the fail. And there's like 3 or 4 different instances like that in this mission, because as you can see, this whole mission is just tagging those bombs. This objective in particular, this is like, this one will get you. If you're learning the speedrun, this specific objective will be the one to piss you off when you're first playing. Because you have to kill about 6 guys here. I get it pretty good here. I can get it even faster now, but some guys just stand in one spot crouching, but I find that, you know, doing the loop-to-loop, it hits different, like, triggers, different spawn zones, I guess, and it forces them to spawn a little faster. If you can find, like, this right little figure 8, starting at the left hand of that one tree facing the bomb, is how I do it now. You know, I run the same kind of, like, little snake pattern every time, and that seems to spawn the 6 guys that I need. If it's not those 6 guys and they're not all dead, you'll run past that hedge maze and you'll fail immediately. So that one takes a lot of finessing. That's actually, ironically enough, one of my better ones now. From all the trouble that it gave me,
They're on their way. Stand by.
You know. And same thing here, you know. You want to be around that tree so that dude spawns, and I think here you need to kill 4. So there's your 3rd, and with that I'm good, but just for good measure, this other dude spawns, so kill him on the way. And that forces the checkpoint. You don't have to wait for it as long as you're confident you did it right. But there's minute things that might fuck it up. I've run that exact same path before and failed upon crossing that threshold, and it's just like, who knows what could have triggered it. Same thing too, you can get 2 guys to spawn behind you, which is usually ideal, but I don't know the subtle difference as to what makes 1 spawn versus what makes 2 spawn. And right, that's good enough, yeah. I could have been running out. At my best, I have forced the checkpoint. You can get as far as about right there. And that's where the checkpoint will force, if you do it right. Otherwise, you will fail beforehand. And then this one right here, this is a little curiosity of mine. Everybody else usually gets like a few rolls in and then they crouch and headshot the guy. I roll all the way past the guy holding the CBDC hostage. So I pass the mailbox right there, give it like another roll or two, and then I go for the headshot. And it's funny to me when you do it that way because you get far enough ahead from CBDC that they don't despawn as long as you're fast enough right here. So I actually get one of them to follow me all the way to the memorial.
I'm getting interference. You must be right on top of this uplink dish.
And then after that, Gerdu's not too hard.
Don't destroy the dish. You need it to find the trigger man.
You also want to be real clear on this maze path, but it's pretty easy. You just hit this hard right and then hit the back corner, and then you'll pop up behind Marcos. And your shotgun ammo was specifically for Gerdu. It takes 3 shotgun blasts at close or mid-range to kill Gerdu. And you'll see the way I do it, it's real easy. And there goes CBDC. And then after Gerdu, you go right into the 2 museum stages, and you know, the change of pace can,
I'm at the entrance. Tell CBDC to get
you know,
their
might
team
throw you
moving.
off, but it's not too bad.
Hurry, Gabe. You don't have much time.
What's really bad is the catacombs, but we'll get there when we get there.
Anton Gerdu. I hope Romer's
And
paying
also
you up
again,
to...
Happy New Year wherever you are. And also,
check.
Yeah, this is the next month. I'll be going at the speedrun again. And yeah, the first week will be a little slow, mostly like daytime sessions, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. But then by about the second or third weekend,
he's finished.
Once I've been able to practice all the stage groups and get a little warm up, then I'll probably go back to full runs for like the last couple of weeks. And if I can, I'm going to try to get a few days off in a row towards the end of the month and just have at it, you know.
Check.
First things first, though, we'll start Omega Strain on Friday, day after tomorrow. And yeah, there's an easier way to do this one too. I learned it at first, but I just wasn't aware that there was this way to do it. Once I saw somebody do this, I was like, oh yeah, that's much better. You see my nice little roll right there. Normally you would have to stop, crouch, and roll, but I found a pretty good way to just roll continuously without making any noise, so that guy can be a problem. But if you run it the way I did, sidestepping it and hugging the corner wide, it's usually not a problem.
What are you doing here?
I've gotten much better at this one too.
Gabe, Fagan's run for it. Romer and Airlock were after him.
Yeah, see. Normally I would shoot him well, but otherwise this is what you're going to see people do.
He's right.
They normally don't even go for the headshot, they just like shoot him in the feet, I think, because it's easier. So that way that I just did it is the usual way to do it, but I found that the way I was trying to do it first was ever so slightly faster. And then this part's a little tricky, but it's not too bad. You just want to start toggling into that G18 right as you're going off the stairs, and then toggle 5 times. I screwed it up though. Normally you would just crouch and just unload your entire G18 ammo on that guy. But I've actually gotten pretty good at headshotting him after all that as well. Which this part's already kind of dangerous, but if you suck at that headshot or suck at killing the dude and give him a chance to keep shooting at you, it's even worse. This is one safe kind of method you could take, is going off to the side and coming off that way. They'll eventually stop, being able to aim at you. Otherwise, what a lot of people will do is as soon as they get out of that area, or as soon as they come into this area before they go off the ramp, they will kill the guy in the window. Because that's one of the main dudes shooting at you as you're trying to climb back up. But I typically find that as long as you get the headshot quick and just climb up that one path, they're never really going to be able to shoot you enough to kill you. And yeah, like I said, you've been watching me palette swap this whole time. The main reason that you see me do that is because there's actually very, discrete differences in the way that Gabe moves and the way that he rolls specifically, based entirely on the kind of weapon you're holding, if it's one-handed or two-handed. So something like the G18 is normally a one-handed weapon, but I palette swap my sniper rifle into it so that I can use it as a two-handed weapon, get the crazy firing rate. You just saw me do it again there. Every time I roll, I can switch into it. And yeah, the whole point is to get a two-handed roll while I'm running. It covers more ground and the animation is slightly faster, and that particularly helps with what I mentioned earlier with the continuous roll on levels where you want to sneak. And I don't think I actually did it right on this speedrun, but I implement a similar strategy on the base stage coming up here in a little bit. And it lets me sneak through that early part of the stage without actually having to slow down. Sneak through at the same speed as a full sprint. Because again, if you're holding just a one-handed weapon, Gabe sort of stunts it, his model kind of stops for a second before the roll starts, and then the roll itself is very slow and doesn't cover as much ground. So it really just boils down to that. And yeah, this part sucks right here too. I've gotten a lot better at it, but you may find yourself having trouble with these guys in the speedrun as well. The way you'd normally do it is just ignore them. You would climb up the way that I was trying to and then do what I'm about to do here, but you know what I mean, I fell, and those guys actually, once you've made it to about this part of the game, the NPCs already get a little more serious. To the point at least that you can't just stand there while two guys are actively shooting on you. You can get away with that on maybe like the first couple of stages, because they're completely incompetent. But yeah, those guys have killed me a lot. I hate those two dudes. And even when you're trying to do it right, they get real sneaky and they'll adjust their positioning. They'll step right where you're trying to climb. And boom, right there. Switched again to the HK5 palette swap. And that's because I'm going to need to roll off of this balcony a very specific way once I get down there. And of course, two-handed roll is necessary for it. I've also gotten really good at the palette swap and finding other ways to do it. Because you can palette swap basically by triggering the toggle menu while Gabe is busy doing any other action, so that he actually isn't able to switch his weapons, but the game still does. So I've actually gotten pretty good at doing it while climbing ledges like you saw me do. And I don't know if I was already doing it in this speedrun, because it's something that I've practiced a lot more, especially more recently. But you'll see me implement it in like the stronghold stage specifically, coming up in like 5 or 6 stages. Just as a way to streamline, the necessary gas grenade glitches there. But we'll get to that when we see it. There's nothing too crazy about this. You want to be real particular about the way that you come up to Mara.
Is Mara still alive?
Sometimes she'll shoot him really early, and I'm not too sure why.
More security is on its way.
And a lot of the time, Fagin will stay there like glitched out, but I haven't gotten that recently, so I don't know what I've been doing differently that Fagin never spawns anymore for me. The reason I like Fagin there is because it's easier to shoot Fagin right here than it is Mara.
Gabe, we needed Mara alive.
Right, there's a fairly, not really long, but there's a dialogue that takes place right there for a few seconds where they're talking about getting Mara and interrogating her and whatnot.
This investigation has been compromised.
And so just killing her right there once you've started the fade to black, that just skips it all. So that's why you kill Mara right there. There or any other instance where you've got an NPC and a fade to black. Wink, wink.
I planted the first explosive.
And yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about right here. If you just try to do like a regular ass roll while you're running over and over again, you'll be heard, it'll be detected. But if you do it the way I'm doing it, which is a very specific input, I'm effectively crouching in between each roll. It keeps it from detecting me. I still screw it up though, because this part right here is real hard. There's an NPC right behind me, or right behind the camera perspective. And yeah, they heard me. Normally they would see you anyway, but like I mentioned earlier with the bombs in the early stages, or with the destroyed subway, right, how the gas main might fail you if you come at it from the wrong angle and such. And you know what, let me backtrack a little bit because I need to touch on what I just did right there too. So the whole point of doing it this way is to avoid specifically what you just saw me do. There's a guy you have to headshot right after that final tanker, and you know, he just spawns with a bunch of people. So normally you would just run through this stage on red alert. You wouldn't even bother sneaking around. And then once you get to that thing, in order to ensure that the guy you need to headshot isn't surrounded by a bunch of, you know, dangerous NPCs that will shoot you and kill you immediately, as you can see. Once you get the checkpoint, you restart at checkpoint, and then that resets all the non-critical NPCs. Gabrick will still be there because he's critical to an objective, but nobody else spawns with him. Had I not screwed up and gotten detected, I could have snuck all the way to that last one, and instead of restarting at the checkpoint, I could just turn around, and he would be walking around the corner with a guard, and then I could just kill him there. Then it would go to red alert, and things would progress normally. And here's one of the necessary palette swaps. Whenever you go specifically from an object like a key card or a C4, a one-handed object that doesn't have an actual model, technically not holding anything, grenades count as well. If you activate your palette swap and go back to an automatic weapon like the PK-102, it does this. Shooting it for some reason throws a grenade. And if you've thrown a gas grenade before, it queues up that data and it replaces that with gas grenades. Which that glitch comes into play with the Stronghold stage. You're going to want to be doing those gas grenades. There's really only like 1 or 2 instances where everybody else does it, but I just use it for everything. I don't see why you wouldn't. And you might you might see me do some stuff with it. I do have a short on my channel though. If you go to my home tab and then scroll down to the guide and instructional type of shorts, there's I have a short of me doing this stage, but exactly how I said, without the restart and without getting caught all the way up to that dude. It's not easy to do it that way because you're constantly doing this, rolling like that. It's more stressful than just running normally. And then this stage is the one that'll check you on your interact skips, which is what you see me doing every time I shoot a gun and then hit a switch or something. Normally, Gabe has to sit through this whole animation where he like presses a button on it. But when you do the palette, when you do the interact skip, you shoot and then interact at the same time, and it looks like that. And this stage is full of those, which you're about to see. Messed it up right there, so that's that long animation you would have to sit through for each one otherwise. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, you know, this game, you can juke its NPCs by just, like I said, kind of running blind. If you don't look in their direction, it won't flag them. And then if you don't make sound on top of that, you can like literally run right in front of somebody. But as long as you never look that way to spawn them, and as long as you never make noise, they technically won't hear you. That's what's happening with that dude who saw me in the stage before. The reason he didn't see me, he heard me. I messed up the input doing my continuous roll, and in like the frame or two in between rolls where I didn't, you know, nail the input, they heard me and they went into alert. Otherwise, if you do it perfectly, even if they're facing that way, as long as you're not facing the direction where they are, they can't properly spawn, and as long as you don't make noise, they won't hear you. So it's complicated because you have to be able to execute that roll perfectly, but if you do, that's the benefit of it.
I've got the last code. I'm gonna try to find a way to deploy our tower on the roof. Get ready to lift off.
And then here's another boss fight. It was Mara and Gerdu, and then we come to the chopper fight on the tower. Which, the way you want to do this, you want to do what's called a one cycle, in which it spawns, you shoot it as much as it can, it flies away, and then on the loop around, you kill it before it flies away on that loop around, and that's called a one cycle. I don't believe I one cycle it on this one, but I've gotten better at it. You kind of just have to sit there and get shot, is the thing about this part.
Leon, right.
And yeah, the interact skip works with those. Shoot, reload, pause, unpause to skip all the animations in the dialogue. Because normally you're talking to Leon, and then she's saying all types of shit, and then she starts screaming, and then Romer starts talking about, I killed your best friend, Logan. And then he comes out, so, you know, you skip it with that. So yeah, already I fucked up. By the time the rotors are peeking up over the building, you already want to be shooting at it, so there's no way this is a one cycle. And it kind of screwed me there, because instead of flying away, it came back, and it spawns with these other NPCs, and these guys specifically, the ones that they spawn for this fight, they have like a stupid narrow hitbox. It's like they take the regular hitboxes that these dudes had and like spaghettified them, you know? Because you'll get like a perfect headshot sometimes, but if it's not dead center, if you shoot them like in the ear, it just doesn't hit. And then for this final section, you know, it's just escaping from the base. They block off the center part of it with that helicopter, so normally you'd have to go all the way around the stage, but there is a way to skip it. It's one of the fire skips. You saw me roll through some fire on the bus stage right at the very beginning. This is your second one. This one's a lot more dangerous and a lot more impactful because it's at the second part of the game. Or it's at a later part of the game. So you see me fuck it up right there the first time, already not good. But even if you fuck it up like 2 or 3 times, it's faster than running the whole stage. And the way you saw me do it right there too, that's actually, as far as I'm aware, nobody else knows how to do it like that. I didn't discover this skip, but the way I've always seen everybody else do it is they get up on that ledge, they use the auto aim on that guy on the roof that you saw up there, the guy shooting a shotgun, and then with like the turnaround that they get from auto aiming, they stare at a pixel on the wall and then they calculate their roll from there. But look at the way I do it. I just get up there and just shoot, and I'm good. And I can do that a lot better now, and I can do it with like less than half a flak jacket, so I can be pretty low on health and still not die from it, but it's very risky to not get shot here either. And then this puts you onto the later half. From here, it's just the stronghold stages and then the endgame stages. And we're only 30 minutes in.
My God. Syphonfilter.
It takes less than 30 minutes to speedrun to the stronghold, and I still and this run for me is still like another 47 minutes. The first place run is like just under an hour. And see, there you go right there too. The way that I rolled onto that window right there, normally the way you'll see the other people do it as well,
check.
Like I said, the rolls are different, so you can actually roll a little faster and farther with a one-handed while you're standing. So the way you'll see like first place do it, for example, they'll hold their pistol one-handed, they'll stand on the edge and then do a one-handed roll to ride that momentum. I have two shorts
found the first group of
describing like the glitches and stuff on here, and on one of them I get into what I started calling dog rolls, which I named after, like, I called them coyote rolls at first, like coyote jumping, but it just didn't sound good, so I switched it to dog rolling. But if you don't know what coyote jumping is, it's you know, it's what they do in like old platformers like Donkey Kong and stuff like that, where it's able to read a jump input even after, you know, you've stopped touching ground. It's critical to a lot of like old Donkey Kong Country, for example. Get some speed rolling off the ledge and then do that. That type of rolling is the same thing too. You're just carrying the downward momentum, but you have to like time it right. You've got to roll right as you're stepping off of something. Because then what happens is it reads that falling momentum. Syphonfilter's crazy with how it stacks momentum. So if you time it right, it'll stack the forward momentum of your roll with the downward accelerating momentum of falling, and it'll like apply that to the diagonal. So you'll be able to hit like a hard horizontal sometimes with the roll. You can get really exaggerated results too, depending on the speed and angle you get at. I've tried to implement it for like some, you know, some optimizations in like these stages and stuff like that as well, but it's very specific, the parts where it would be useful. And like I said, it's kind of complicated to implement. I wanted to do a whole segment on just that. You know, a whole segment on just the momentum physics and things like that, as well as NPC logic, but that's a pretty big topic when you really get into it, and there's a lot more that can be expanded on it past even like the speedrun. And right there, boom. That's one of the little subtle optimizations. The shotgun's good for the pallet swapping and the interact skipping because it technically counts as an automatic firing weapon. It's not rapid firing, but if you hold a square button, it'll spam the shotgun, which that's all it needs. If it can spam the shot with a square hold, then it can be used for interact skips. That's why the vaccine works for it too, because when you're holding square, it's basically just rapidly mashing the triangle button. You know, the interact button. Which, funny enough, on this stage and on any other stage that has one of those items, you can actually answer codec calls, or you know, you can answer the radio calls that you get by pressing square on one of those items. If you press square while holding a C4, it literally just reads that as a triangle press. That was one of the complications with that base stage as well. You know, with all the rolling around that I do, you might have noticed me pallet swapping into the C4 for that specific reason, because whenever I went for the crouching skips, instead of having to time the triangle press, I could just hold square going into it and it would mash it and do it for me. But I figured out, right, especially on that first bomb, where if you cross that threshold of that corridor a little too much, you get that radio call from Leon. If you're already holding square on the C4 and you roll into that threshold, it automatically answers the codec call, is how I figured that out. Like, what the fuck? I thought I was being clever by not pressing triangle and just holding square on that, and yeah, that drop fucking killed me. There's a few drops like that that can kill you, just little things. So if you see somebody slowing it down for some reason on a speedrun, it's probably because of something like that. If you see somebody stop and turn around and drop down a ledge instead of like rolling off or doing something, it's because you'd probably literally die from the fall. Which is part of the thing that I'm trying to circumvent with some of this, you know, momentum physics, but it's a lot to experiment with, especially when I don't dedicatedly do the speedrun on a daily basis. We might get more Syphonfilter speedrun next year, though. Or, I guess this year now. Happy New Year. Of course, January will still be the big Syphonfilter event month, but you know, the speedrun itself is, you know, a pretty big event. And yeah, Honestly, at this point, the only reason I died is because I went too crazy with like my acrobatics. Sometimes it's the simple answer. In most of those cases, if you just run, he'll have like his own downward momentum that kind of stops him instead of forcing him to go forward. But if you're doing things like toggling weapons or rolling, all of these things, they retain momentum. Whereas like just a straight run off a ledge, oof. And see, look at how many times I die. I can't believe I haven't been able to match this time. I'd say I've actually gotten the hang of the stronghold and the second floor stronghold. They're probably among my better stages as well. But the catacombs, ooh. And you can even see on the previous run before this run too. I mean, look at all these stages, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes at most. And then the catacombs are 11 minutes. And the catacombs are simply the longest part of the game and of the speedrun, absolutely, by comparison. Because the thing about the catacombs, as you'll see, is that it's a follower segment, and it's not like the museum where you could just get ahead of Fagin and then cut into his loading zone. You have to wait on, you know, this medical guy to open a door. So he has to be there. You've got to tell him the whole time. You can't get ahead of him because he'll despawn, and you need him there, and just blech. And of course stealth, so. Sorry, I had to check on my stuff. Yeah, that wasn't too good. Most of this little stuff has gotten much better. I wasn't actually too familiar with these later parts of the speedrun at this point is the thing, even at this point. I was familiar enough with these later parts of the speedrun to do them. I knew the path, I knew the, you know, the strats generally, but there's absolutely no refinement here past a certain point. So like there's another part where you would just want to run down, and then as soon as you're on that top part, you can roll all the way down to that spot, basically. Do what I just did, and boom. Same thing too, that guy, hit him with the automatic gas grenade. And this one seems scary, but if you just hug the wall right here and then clip through the edge, the gas will not get you. As long as you hit him with the gas grenade as soon as he spawns like that, he's always standing in the same spot. And then once you throw the gas grenade, he basically locks in there, you know? Because if you wait till you're closer, he might move and do all this shit, so you want to know that he's right there. And so right here, I'm already holding square, so as soon as I make contact with him, it reads it as, you know, the thing, and then I go for the skip. It only reads it as a triangle input once you touch them. Right, so Markinson's call is waiting for the triangle input, and as soon as you make contact with those guys pressing square or holding square, it's like a rapid fire triangle press. So literally you get right up on them, and then you know you're close enough to do your interact skip because it was close enough to interact, you already did. You answered the call by interacting with them, so you know you don't have to get any closer. You just gotta skip the call and then boom, go for the interact skip. want to do that stupid shit. So many mistakes. And still can't do but like 10 minutes worse. Anyway, it's usually tradition around here to stream on, you know, New Year's, 4th of July. That's usually just on account of the noise. Seems to mostly be over, but, you know, I usually don't go to bed until like 2 in the morning anyway, so. Won't take but another 40 minutes to finish all this, because it'll loop back into that Syphonfilter stuff after, but yeah. Seems my audience has left me, and it's later, it's much later than, you know, my typical audience is used to too, so. I have had success with some of these late night streams, but it's been very specific stuff. I streamed Skyrim one night until like about this time, 2 in the morning one time, and had about 100 and something people at its peak. It was the stream that ended up being cut into the Super Speed Supercut, which is the save file that I went back to stream a few days ago, you know, kind of a late holiday thing, which is another tradition, Skyrim for the holidays, but I couldn't get the questline that I needed to started. I was going to finish off that super speed set with Azadal's Boots of Water Walking, but Mirak's goons never came up to me. So what I did instead is another favorite pastime of mine in Skyrim, if you didn't already see the shorts or the stream itself, and I glued people to the wall. Stuck them to some iron bars. Just torturing people. Basically everything that Sans Undertale warned you about. And yeah, not a whole lot to say about this one. This one's mostly the path. There's nothing too crazy with it. The first stronghold part gets a little more complicated. A little more technical with some of the tricks, but that's about all it is. You want to be really good at your placement and at your palette swapping and stuff like that. And then here, oh.
Security has been breached. Roma has ordered the...
All of Romer's under...
Check.
I mean, I'm not even going to be saying a whole lot during this because, I mean, just look at it. Well, yeah, the main reason I stream on those days, though, 4th of July, New Year's, it's just because of the noise, man. I didn't realize that I had set this to private. I thought I had scheduled it for midnight. But I don't believe that that really affected too much anyway. People typically haven't cared too much about Syphonfilter, or like I said, a lot of these late night streams too much. Nor is it my habit, but... it's worth getting something out there. Can't tell me I didn't. I'm gonna speed this part up though. Just slightly. And yeah, if it's not fireworks, it's gunshots or engines revving. And yeah, I'm just not too much for it. And yeah, you're looking at it. Just loop around waiting for this guy. And this is the single slowest part of it, just because you're waiting for this. But this is probably the worst part,
Please.
though. It's this escort mission with Fagin, which everybody loves escort parts, right? But here's the thing. You touch the dude at all, he stops. You get slightly too far from him, he stops. So that was already less than optimal. You're supposed to just hit the gas grenade on the way out and then pull off this way. I've gotten a lot faster at killing those dudes too, but you gotta kill them. There's some other dudes that spawn down the hall and then some other guys around the corner. It's one of those things where if you want Fagin to move effectively, you have to know who to shoot, who not to shoot. Shoot the guys with flak jackets so they don't kill you. Shoot the guys who are critical and in the way so that Fagin gets a fucking move on it. All the while remembering this topsy-turvy ass path. All that just to lead to another follower segment. The part with Leon isn't quite as bad. League's better, but... And there's a bunch of very specific ways to do this to control the spawns. Whenever you're going down the corridor right before this one, you want to have Fagin slightly ahead of you, while at the same time not facing the way that you're going to prevent guys from spawning. And then Fagin's dumbass likes to just... Look at that, look at him run right in front of you. Just fucking ran for it, bro. God damn, I hate this dude. I hate just even watching this. And this is the bane of the speedrun. This is... It's the steepest learning curve, and it's the most grueling experience. Because you have to play the waiting game at first. There's no way around it. You're fucking full octane for 30-something, 40 minutes. And yeah, look at that momentum right there. That's what I'm talking about. It's because of the angle that I went at. It was an upward, outward angle while falling at the same time, and boom. That's what I mean with those straight horizontals. Imagine being able to clear a gap like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's dog rolling. That was just an accidental upward vertical dog roll is all. And yeah, what you saw with that roll is effectively what I was talking about at the beginning of the stronghold, clearing that first gap. That sort of speed and momentum is the usual speed you get with like a regular standing roll by itself. One-handing standard roll. But you do the correct momentum with it while strafing, while falling, etc. And you get those exaggerated results. Right there, it didn't work as good. He just kind of fell straight down because the roll was too late. But if you snap with the roll just as you're going down, it converts that downward momentum and stacks it onto whatever forward momentum. Usually still with a downward angle, but the forward angle gets so exaggerated that it ends up being just kind of like a clear shot. Normally, if you try to do a two-handed roll to clear the gap at the beginning of the stronghold stage the way you saw me do, you will fall and you'll die. You won't clear the gap. But if you get it with the right angle, strafing, and then timing, the boost will carry you. And I've gotten a lot better at it too, at the timing, because at first I used to just barely clear the gaps. Sometimes I'd have to like, you know, sometimes I'd have to plan for clipping the ledge instead of actually landing on there. And it went from barely clipping the ledge half the time to me just clearing the gap whole ass, you know what I'm saying?
That's
I'm like
yourself.
basically
You're on
hitting
your
the
own
wall.
now.
Let's get out of here. Check your fire.
And the reason you want to shoot Leon is because I hate her. She's annoying. Just kidding. I actually love Leon. She's no Teresa, but... No, you want to shoot her because you want to put her into like a panicked, dangered state. Because if she's at full health, her ass will stand there in broad daylight just shooting these fools. She will sit here with a vengeance trying to kill every single one of these guys. And boom, right there, I clipped her ankles a little bit, so she just fucking stood there. Cannot touch these people at all. But yeah, you shoot her so that she's at low enough health that she's like in the red, so she just panics and fucking runs off. They'll never kill her. And then her route is a lot easier. If you know the route, and you know, and she likes to do these little like zigzags, trying to juke, you know, the ops, I guess. As long as you know when she's about to hit like a little flip-flop, and you've got your strafing and everything down well, I think she dies right here. I'm pretty sure I fail, but as long as you can get all that right, you can plan around it, hit a little circle jerk, and then, you know, catch momentum and run out in the way that she's going to be running anyway. It's much easier to remember, and like I said, she's much faster. There's one of your little loop-de-loops right there. But yeah, the worst is over. Once you hit these stairs, it's another corridor. There'll be some stairs on the left, and then the final stairs on the left on the way out. But that puts you officially in the end game, though. The last 6 stages are all one group.
There's someone up ahead.
It's the warehouses, the second part of the warehouses, the destroyed warehouse 76, the underground tunnel, the blackout destroyed tunnels, and then the final silo stage.
Gabe, with both...
And there's a lot of particularities too. You want those guys to spawn PK-102s, but both of them had combat shotguns, which means I don't have a PK-102 for later in the stage. Most people go for the taser because the taser curves naturally upward, otherwise you'd have to aim slightly upward to actually break the window with a gun. You don't need to waste time on the scanner because it just shows you where they are. It's not actually necessary for tagging them if you know where they are. Which obviously you're going to for the speedrun, so here's your first one. And these things are real specific. Look at that. Oh, okay, I didn't do it. You can't just hit him like normal crouching interactables, because if you get him in movement, he'll waddle over them and it won't work. On the ones where you're on top of them, at least. If it's the ones where it's off to the side, it'll work. You'll do your little duck waddle and then you tag him. But if it's on top, he'll walk clear over them and then it just won't work. And there's a strat right here, and it's just, I'm not too good at it yet. Break the window, go in there, interact skip to get the grenades and the flak check if you need it. And then on top of this tank right here to the right, that's where one of your viral people are. One of your viral YouTubers. And the way I've come to do it is I go for my pallet swap grenade switch so that I can shoot those tankers, and then as soon as I go out of the camera, it automatically throws a grenade at those dudes. The way you want to do it is you want to throw a grenade off to the side of that building. You want to not die first and foremost. But that white warehouse that you're headed towards, you want to throw a grenade off to the side of it. And and this is still my best time, I still haven't been able to match this by like even 10 minutes. So yeah, that white wood one right there. Around where that corner is, you want to land a grenade to blow up those doors by the time you run up there, so you don't have to sit through that animation. But I've never been too good at that. I'm still not too great at it. You want to go dead center with there, because if you're not, it's just going to keep pushing you back. You got to go right at the line right there. Bullshit. This is real specific too. You can clear those dudes pretty easy, but I wasn't too good at doing it there. They even kill me. After that, you climb up another set of metal containers. You shimmy across this railing to cut off a power switch so that the electrified fences are no longer electrified and you can pass through them. And then you go past the enemy lines to another warehouse, tag another carrier, and then loop all the way back down these tunnels. And the tunnel right there to the right, the one where I weaved a second ago, right after I ran out and died, at the end of it, there's a K3, G4, KG34, I forget what it's called. But it's the automatic gun that shoots through flak jackets. The current optimal strat is to, on the way back, run all the way down that corridor and pick that gun up and then finish the stage. The reason being is that in the second to last stage, right before the silo stage, literally right at the end, right before you cross the threshold and fade to black and go into the next mission, there is a mob of like 4 dudes that are just ridiculous. They will kill the fuck out of you. But you know, with all the nonsense that I was talking about earlier, right, proximity spawning and facing and not facing the right way and so on and so forth, you know, I'm trying to find a way to circumvent that, but obviously it's not easy. And it would also be far too time consuming to stop for, you know, best case scenario, if you could like execute perfect headshots on all of them, you might save like a second or two past that, but odds are it'll take you just as much time with much more effort trying to headshot them all and take cover at the end rather than just getting the gun and then coming and finishing the stage to begin with, which is exactly why you'll see it implemented that way. But it's one of those things to consider. That's one of those problem areas. That's one of those big things where it's like, sure, it's way harder and impractical, but it seems like one of those things that could pretty easily be mitigated. Well, maybe not easily, but very plausibly, I should say. More so than like a lot of other problem areas, just because it's such a big thing, you know? It takes like a whole ass 12 or 13 seconds to run all the way down that corridor, get the gun, and then run all the way back out. Just to come out and do this. I don't think there's anything else too significant, too much of a detour or like a safety in that way in this last stage group besides that. And yeah, you can see what that continuous roll looks like more successfully. I got right up on those fools and they had no idea. Because rolling is technically a form of sneaking. All rolls are technically sneaking. It doesn't matter if it's a one-handed or two-handed running roll or walking roll or standing roll, whatever. Just as much as a, you know, stationary crouching roll. Rolling, the action itself is sneaking.
I found shipping benefits for parts.
But the thing about sneaking is that it's slower in and of itself.
Right.
And if you try to roll out of a crouching sneak, the way it works is Gabe will actually stop, you know, and reset to that single crouch position, you know, on one knee, and then he'll roll out of that continuously. The way I do it, then, is I basically, you know, imagine you're holding a crouch, right? And instead of just doing like a forward crouching roll, I basically release the crouch to roll. So in the moment that it reads the roll, it's reading it as just a standing, or rather forward non-crouching roll, which, you know, would effectively be like a forward running roll. So it's reading the forward running roll, but it's reading it as soon as it's coming out of the crouching animation. So even though it's technically based off of the running movement, because it's rolling literally the frame out of the crouch anyway, there's literally no time. There's no time for the game to detect the running movement. It can read the rolling input, the forward rolling input without the crouch, so it reads it as a running forward input, running forward roll. But it's reading the running forward roll, which the roll itself is a form of sneaking, right out of the crouch.
That's the last viral.
And if you do it right, there's already like lag canceling and stuff like that. It's very discreet. But basically you can like when you're rolling, you can technically save like a frame of animation for whatever it may be worth to you, by technically landing on a crouch, right? If you're gonna roll off a ledge, you want to be holding a crouch so that you crouch out of it, and then the second you hit the ground, then you want to release it. So that way you technically land on a crouch, and then on the very next frame you pop back up on 2 feet, as opposed to landing on 2 feet and having landing lag, you know. And even if it's not significant landing lag, like where Gabe falls and does a whole reverberating motion about it, but even just falling, you know, it holds you there for like 2 or 3 frames while the model resets, I guess. Doing that perfectly timed crouch input corrects that. Same thing too if you're going for a standing roll off of a higher surface to get like horizontal momentum. You usually want to hold a crouch off of that too, so that way you're doing like a crouched walk through the air. And same thing, you technically want to land on the crouch, but then on the same frame that you're landing, you want to also be standing from a crouch, so that the standing from a crouch animation overwrites the, you know, crouching animation itself, and it just pops right into it. And that's basically the philosophy behind the continuous roll, the crescent roll I call it. You roll while holding a crouch, that way you land technically on a crouch, but on the same frame that you would land on a crouch, you're releasing the crouch so that the crouch landing animation is replaced by standing out of a crouch. Or in the case of a continuous roll, running out of a crouch.
Leon,
but
check.
If that same input then is paired with a roll, it will kind of override it again, or it'll queue up that input rather, and then in the very next frame, it'll go from the rising animation straight back to running and rolling, without ever actually reading a run input in isolation. Because it's the run input in isolation that technically makes sound, right? Which is why it's so easy to screw up the continuous roll. Because if you mess up the landing, if you fuck it up for even a frame, is what it ends up happening. Is that's all it needs. It needs to only read a singular frame of running movement. So if you miss that roll input, or if you miss the release of the crouch input, or, you know, one going into the other, you don't get your continuous roll. Even if it looks like it, if you're trying to sneak, which only really matters in the sneak. If you're just trying to maneuver around, it's a lot easier to roll without the landing lag of the typical continuous running roll. But in those stealth situations in particular, that is the key to you know what I mean? That's the key to not being heard, to not being detected.
Watch out down there, Gabe.
Right.
And yeah, this one, you know, it just gets more intense than anything. This part right here, I went for the headshot, but now I would just do it the way everybody else does. The way you're supposed to do it is just run these guys down and just spam them. Just empty the clip on them. At that point, it was probably better to do it the way that I did to correct it, but... I mean, the headshot is probably faster if you can be perfect about it, but... The main trick with this one is actually at the start. You want to run past those first few dudes and cross that little bridge with the other guys. And then right as you're coming up to that ledge, Leon will basically always call you right then and there. Like literally right as you're touching it, but you can kind of beat her to the punch. And as you're coming up to that first ledge on the cavern, or that little cavern way, you'll actually climb up while the call is coming in. It's very hard to do. It's very hard not to just answer the call, which can fuck you. Because as we've learned and discussed previously, I don't remember what specifically, probably just another stream like this, but you know, if you answer a call while you're being shot at, they'll stop shooting at you, but they're still engaging with you. They're still aiming at you, and like your danger meter's still going up. So if you were already getting shot pretty good, you know, as it was, and then you fuck around and answer a call, and you listen to it, that whole time, if it's like a 10-second call, they're just going to be perfecting their aim, and the second you come out of that shit, you're going to get, yeah, that's going to happen, like just brrrr. I had the game glitch on me when I was trying to get like the European backups working for my regular PS2. And like the first stage loaded up, and I was on that radio call with Leon, but nothing actually was said. The music was going, but the camera was just spinning around. But the dialogue didn't start. And since I guess the cutscene is flagged to end with the end of dialogue, until the dialogue could start and then end, the cutscene would never end, I guess, until I pressed X. So what happened was I just stood there and see what would happen. And like, you know, the CBDC agent guy and like 3 of those dudes just ganged up on me. But you know, they were just standing there pointing their guns at me, so I let them sit there for like a good minute straight, and then I pressed X. And as soon as the mission started, it was just like pop, 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 and I was just dead like in a second. Because those guys are like horribly incompetent, but if you stand there for like a whole ass 45 seconds, they will get like pow, 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 pow. They'll start shooting you like these dudes do. The difference is that these dudes just get right to it. But it was pretty funny, just dying so fast and so effectively to those stage 1 terrorists.
I made it into the power room. I'm going to try.
But yeah, for the most part, this one's just more difficult than anything. It's got its couple of little trick moments, but it's nothing you haven't already handled in the speedrun. And of course, your last 2 fire skips were in the last stage, Warehouse 76. Actually, no, it was 3 fire skips. So there's 5 fire skips in the game. There's 1 in stage 2, right at the beginning. There's 1 at the end of the base segment, at the base escape, through the helicopter, and then the last 3 were in Warehouse 76, yeah. You gotta cross that first fire to just skip the first half of the stage. And I died at the second one. I fucked up. After you get that first checkpoint, you climb up the box, and then you're supposed to do a one-handed roll. What I was saying earlier, that one-handed crouch walking roll. You know, so that you can get enough momentum to clear that fire, and then loop around and do what I did, but I died, and then on the second one just went back and climbed up the box and circumvented the fire. And then the third one, you shoot the elevator, and as it goes down, you clear the fire on that little gap to land on the elevator and come to this stage, or the stage before this one. And again, this one, the main thing is just learning how to get down at the beginning, you know, from the fiery, you know, beams that are burning. And then, you know, having the spatial awareness to understand where the turn into this dark corridor is. But once you're in the corridor, the caves are pretty significant. And one thing I've done by accident, I have rolled on top of those brown things by accident. And while the ledge itself is too high to roll down from, while those brown, you know, posts look about the same height, they are not high enough to die from. You can roll off of those and you'll be fine. But I only did it one time, and it was one of those things where I just hit a perfect roll and just literally flew horizontally through the air. So I like just rolled from point A to B instead of rolling straight down. If I can perfect that horizontal movement though, that would correct exactly that sort of stuff. Instead of having to crawl down on some nonsense, I could just roll off to those posts and then roll down and kill that dude. And yeah, this part right here. Instead of doing what I'm doing right here, you want to have that gun to just shoot through all the flak jackets. And the thing about it is it literally shoots through the flak jackets. It doesn't like destroy them instantly. It just ignores them.
Leon, I found the elevator down to the silo.
So whenever you shoot those guys to death, they will still drop their flak jackets.
Leon, check.
But the thing is, you know, like I said, even if you did that perfectly, look at how hard that little second is. It would be very hard to manage a bunch of headshots right there. But if you can manage some way to do that, to kill them, maybe even with like a grenade glitch or, you know, something else, who knows? That's an easy way to save about 10-15 seconds. Right. But, you know, easier said than done. It's hard to just ignore those guys. These dudes will kill you. But yeah, if I want that first place time, I've got to be able to do, you know, this run 17 minutes faster. Got to get it down to a minute. I'm already 15 minutes behind. How's that a speed run, bro? And this part's always complicated too. I've never exactly figured out the full rhythm for this last stage. Making sure that those guys don't kill me. Making sure that I can get through that fast enough. And the trick you want to do there, because I don't know if I get it right here, is you want to roll into it. Because it carries the roll. Yeah. It like teleports you in there, freeze frames you I guess, and then respawns you, and then if you went in there as a roll, it'll finish your roll. So exactly what you just saw will happen.
Gabe, I'm intercepting frantic calls from NATO command. They're tracking the missile's launch. All
fucking NATO.
Ordered to DEFCON 3. If you don't get to the detonator on level 2 in time, we're looking at World War III.
Oh, I fell through the void. That's what I'm saying. So many failures, so many hiccups, so many deaths, so many retries. And on top of all that, I fell into the goddamn void at the end of it all. And the best I can do is still like 12 minutes slower than this. I'm about to finish. It's only like 45 seconds left.
They're tracking the missile's launch. All European commands are being
Or like a minute left, so this is it.
If you don't get to the detonator on level 2 in time, we're looking at World War III.
The thing is, though, you know, I've always played games the same way too, so especially when it comes to the speedrun now, my mentality from the beginning's always been to just say fuck it and brute force the optimal path. So from the beginning, I've basically been trying to replicate first and second place more than anything else. And that was before I could even finish a whole speedrun. And that's where Romer will spawn.
Leon, I made it. I'm triggering the missile's
and there's your speedrun.
Logan! Logan!
Not a bad time. I mean, I'd like to see you beat Syphonfilter in 77 minutes.
What now?
First, we get the lab guy started on this disc and your vaccine.
No, I mean, all
No.
of this. What's happened here?
But what about the
Parkinson's
Omega
involvement
strain?
with Fagin,
Don't
Romer,
worry,
their
the
plans,
trailers are about
the
to
virus.
play.
What's it all mean? I don't know.
I don't know. Don't ask me. Just give me my fucking cigarettes. Leon, I'm hungry.
You must miss me terribly to bring me here at such expense.
Fucking Mara Aramov. I'll do a video one day on
But this is business.
Mara and this stupid ass story.
Has decided to go into business for himself.
I warned you the man was another Stalin.
It's just,
There's nothing I
you know,
can
the
do.
gist of it.
You and
The most
I
you
are
need to
much
understand why Syphonfilter's so corny is that it's just one of those continuities where it's just like it was actually this man in charge.
All right, Mihai. I will deal with him if I can find him.
Right, it's like Metal Gear likes to just
It
throw a whole
shouldn't
lot of
be
people at you as well too, but there's always some kind
The new
of,
virus appears rather
you know, there's
unstable.
at least something close to what you could call logic there with it though.
He has someone making the rounds, selling it anyway. We won't know where he's going next.
And it's always pretty impactful, it's always something relevant seeming. Even when it's something that doesn't seem important, it usually comes back around and it's just like, oh shit. With Syphonfilter, it's more like, who the fuck is this?
The Carthage Health Authority is not cooperating. At this moment, I am waiting.
And then they extrapolate as much as they possibly can, and it's just like, this shit means absolutely nothing to me.
My preliminary findings suggest
That was Mujari's final report. His cell phone went dead 4 hours ago. Gabe?
Thanks, Teresa. All right. I'm sending Amani with another team to Carthage to find him. Stone, you investigate the outbreak in Italy. Leon and I will go to Uganda.
Everyone will be briefed individually
Stone,
on
you
their
go be the
assignments.
colonel from
That's
Metal
it.
Gear.
Hey, you guys? I know you don't want to hear it, but I need information as soon as you get it. Check in once in a while.
That means you, Stone.
Whatever you say, darling.
I'll make sure he pipes in.
Thanks, Alima. Get going.
What?
Leave Imani alone.
And yeah, these characters
What are
remain
you standing
relevant
around
because
for?
now that I'm thinking about it,
Head to your
Alima,
locker and get loaded up.
I'm pretty sure she
Weapons
plays a
check
much
before
bigger
you board my
role
chopper so your
in like
gear
the
better shine.
couple of games to come, Logan's Shadow or Dark Mirror.
One more thing.
People die
Each
all
of you
over the
were
place too, so I
handpicked
don't
to
remember if
join
she
this
dies in
team.
one
This
or if
threat is
she's in
growing.
both.
We're the only ones who have a chance to stop it. I'm counting on you. Thanks.
But now that they say her name, I remember her being more important. She's like the pilot. She's like their go-to. Of course, Teresa, Leon, Mujari came in on 3, and they're still just kind of treating him important. And now there's Imani, and whatever the fuck I just said her name was, I already forgot it again. Her right there, down there with the sunglasses. And then Stone.
The new virus appears rather unstable.
They brought him in new.
This threat is growing.
The situation has changed. This thing is out of control.
But yeah, especially once all the games are done and I have all the streams, all the footage compiled on my computer, right?
we may all be in
And I can isolate all the cutscenes. I really, really want to do a deep observation on this thing. I'll see how I decide to do that. And you know, this is all to come. I'm still not sure how I want to handle next year. Because after this, there's only Dark Mirror and Logan's Shadow left. And I don't know if I'm wanting to do them both, or if I just want to do the one. I may as well. I mean, I plan on doing this at least the next couple of years, like I said. The year is over. It's 2026, but January actually... Well, what the hell was that? Yeah, the year is over, but January actually marks the end of the year on this channel. Started a couple years ago, just offhand. I've been wanting to do this for years and years, and I finally decided, fuck it, I gotta start somewhere, and I started with Shin Megami Tensei 5 because I figured I've never played any of these games. I could give a fuck if I butcher the experience completely because I don't care about these games. And yeah, I logged in a bunch of hours, you know, because JRPG.
Threat of global biological war. Of course.
Fucking Bush.
We're the only ones who have a chance to stop it.
Oh, damn. Someone's running a deep-sea salvage operation.
But yeah, I put in a bunch of hours, recorded basically all of it, uploaded it all without editing. I mean, you can go watch it.
That is the deal.
Go sort my videos by oldest and watch the first SMT5 upload.
Gabe, you can't. You're going to jeopardize the entire agency.
After that, moved on to Castlevania Legacy of Darkness, Sonic Adventure. I actually stopped playing Sonic Adventure right before the, you know, the E102 and Big the Cat parts because blech, you know, if you've ever played those games. Played all of Syphonfilter because I couldn't contain myself. Finished Sonic Adventure. And then moved on to you know, whatever was after that, Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase, Nightfire, blah blah blah, up to Rogue Ops and Simpsons Hit and Run. Hit and Run kind of marked the new start, because the year I would say, well no, Rogue Ops did, because that year kind of ended with Syphonfilter again, and then it was followed up immediately by, right, because I published Syphonfilter after, you know, like Jersey Devil and all that, but it was played before all of it. Like I said, it was played in between, or right in the middle of Sonic Adventure. And then, yeah, that would have marked like the second year after that. So everything from like Rogue Ops and Hit and Run, Sonic Adventure 2 up to that, you know, things were a little more controlled. It wasn't too different. I tried to go a little more into the topical stuff, but it didn't work out too well either. You know, I haven't done too much of it.
If my suspicions...
And Romer, their plans, the virus.
What's it all mean? I don't know.
Yeah, but... yeah, I try to do more of the topical stuff, but that stuff takes time, but... you know, that was like the HD era. Because right when I was starting to record Sonic Adventure 2, you know, I moved to the apartment that I'm in right now. I was looking for new internet because I couldn't get the fiber optic plan that I had over here, which is why I can't stream in HD. If I streamed, I probably could have in the house that I had before because it was a much shittier place to live in, but I had access to fiber optic internet, which, oof, I miss me some fiber. The only options here, other than like regular, you know, landline internet, was satellite stuff, which is technically what I have, but I have the, you know, home internet from my mobile provider. Which, if you've never had that, it effectively just works like a giant, super-powered hotspot. Right, they don't want you to know this, but we'll know where he's been. You can technically take these things anywhere with you, plug them in, and you'll have your internet signal. but it might not work as much because they are relegated, they are designated for specific areas. And also, Happy New Year. You're coming in at the end of it, but...
If my suspicions prove correct,
and yeah, I may not be shit-faced, but I have been drinking as well. I drink during these streams usually. You can always tell because my syllables start getting a little more mashed potato-y, but...
Alright, I'm sending Amani with another team to Carthage to find him. Stone, you investigate the outbreak in Italy. Leon and I will go to Uganda.
Everyone will be briefed individually on their assignments. That's it.
No, but
Hey, you guys. I know you don't want to hear it.
yeah,
but
anyway, I got that
information as soon
internet,
as you get it.
and
Check in once in a while.
the thing about it is when
That
I
means
enrolled,
you,
they
Stone.
had an incentive. If
Whatever
I
you say,
enrolled in the
darling.
home internet,
I'll make sure he pipes in.
they
Thanks, Alima.
would give
Get
you a
going.
$200 Amazon gift card. So I took that,
What?
Leave the money
and
alone.
I bought myself the HD
What are you
capture
standing
card,
around for?
which,
Head to
you
your
know,
locker and get
Sonic
loaded up.
Adventure and everything
Weapons
up
check before you
to,
board my chopper,
you
so
know,
your
the
gear better
64
shine.
Zeldas and all that was recorded in HD. And then last December,
thing.
with the Syphon
Each of you
Filter
were
Speedrun,
handpicked to join this
I
team.
practiced in
This
December,
threat is
and then
growing.
I
We're
streamed
the
Syphon
only
Filter
ones
2
who
and
have a
3,
chance to stop it. I'm counting on you.
so that I could
Thanks.
stream the Speedrun in January, and then upload the abridgments. But... hold on, let me run it to these first trailers. That way I can have the awareness plug on there.
One more thing. Each of you
And
were
then the thing is,
handpicked to
once I
join
started
this team.
streaming, I tried
This threat
streaming
is growing.
in
We're the
Halloween
only
first
ones
last
who have
year.
a chance to stop it.
I streamed
Counting on you.
LSD, but it came out really choppy because I was trying to stream 1080 60 FPS. And like I said, my internet can't handle that. But I eventually found the settings for it, which is how I'm streaming now. But the compromise is I have to stream 30 FPS 720, which kind of ruins the whole point of having a $200 HD capture card. But that's part of why I'm separating like the main series stuff. I'll stream things like the speedrun, I'll stream more experimental or just varied stuff, right? Things like subscriber and
The
viewer
new virus
requests,
appears rather unstable.
or even just things that I want to just play myself.
threat is
Like I
growing.
said, Risk of Rain has been pretty fun, and a
The
lot of people tend to
situation
watch
has
it.
changed. This thing is out
But
of
as
control.
for games that I really like, and want to give the whole gameplay experience, right? Play like 20 or 30 hours at least. I'm gonna just start recording those in HD again. I recorded a lot of Fantasy Life. And what I want to do is once I review the footage, after the speedrun is done, I'm not gonna worry about any of that for now. But once I review it all and have it chopped up to like a good few hours like a gameplay series thing usually would be, I might just kind of dump that video and then stream it like this. And then do a little commentary on it, kind of like some fake gameplay session commentary, because I actually didn't record commentary with it. I wanted to play Fantasy Life mostly for fun. I wasn't planning on recording it or buying it, but you know, I've talked about Fantasy Life before. I played the original on 3DS. I've been waiting for a sequel, you know, for like 10 years. And I waited this long because I wanted it to go on sale, but it didn't. So after Black Friday, after it didn't get a sale, I just said fuck it and paid the $60 for it. And then like 2 weeks later for Christmas, it finally went on sale for like $45. I was mad, but you know, it was enough to convince a friend of mine to buy it on sale. So, silver lining, I guess.
Threat of global biological war.
But you know, I didn't want to worry too much about it. I wanted good footage, so I recorded it, but I just kind of ignored the recording and just played naturally. So there's no commentary to it, and there's no real structure. So once I whittle it down, I want to stream that and maybe do commentary, and then work some weird-ass kind of script. Which I've never done a video like that, but, you know, I'm going to try to get more experimental this year. Because like I said, this last year was my third year on the channel. Right, because year one would have ended with Syphonfilter, right, me just playing Syphonfilter and doing the soundtrack analysis. year 2 I did last year with, you know, this 7th place speedrun. And then this January will be the end of year 3.
This is going to push him over the edge.
So then for this 4th year going into YouTube now, this last year then I've been calling it my business year. That's why I went so deep into the Pokemon speedrun and, you know, all this stuff. It was just for the push for subscribers and content and all that, but now that I've reached like a certain, you know, good point, I don't really want to slow down, but like I said, it's too much to habitually stream extended sessions of games that I have to then review and this and that. So I'm gonna cut that down to a handful of games a year, spread apart, you know, pretty far. And then the streams can just be, you know, me reviewing stuff like the Midway FMV, or even stuff like this. I'm liking this whole, you know, putting stuff together and streaming it and commenting over it, so I don't really have to do as much. But then, you know, Goose Game was really fun, very casual, one and done, out of the way. And all the games that I've talked about wanting to play before that I didn't really have good avenue for, I've wanted to play a lot of arcade fighters, things like Soul Calibur 2, Capcom vs. SNK 2, and, you know, a few other things that I have on my shelf. Mortal Kombat Deception's always been really fun, but they never really had a place in like the gameplay series because arcade fighters are really short. If you go to my Cartoon Network series, if you watch the Billy and Mandy upload that I have, it's like a 30-something minute abridgment, and honestly, that thing was only abridged like 20 or 30%. Most of it is still there because I only really had like an hour's worth of really good stuff to play and say about it because, you know, it's an arcade fighter. And I do need a camera. I want to try to get a camera as soon as possible just because, like, especially when I'm doing more casual stuff like this, I find myself emoting a lot and it's just like, you know, I'm emoting to nothing. I would anyway, this is just how I speak and act, but it's just like, it would add a little bit of, you know, good shit to this. Oh, there's the speedrun again. Let's just see what it looks like super fast. Oh yeah. But yeah, stuff like that, I'll be a lot more free to stream, just whatever I want. It'll be more appropriate for the camera, and like I said, viewer requests and things like that, I've wanted to do, even things like collaborations, but it's just very specific. But now that I'm going into this less critical year, as far as like growth and stuff goes, I feel like I can afford to do some stuff with like my viewer base still kind of vibing with the channel. One thing I will make a push for, if nothing else, is some Sonic content. I'll try to hop on the Chow Garden more often, and I'll try to play, you know, still haven't played Sonic Heroes, still a lot of like Sonic Gems Collection and Mega Collection stuff to play. But, you know, high-key, like a quarter of my subscribers come from Sonic. So like, if you ever feel like something that you want on the channel is neglected, like Zelda or Pokemon or whatever, you know, just know that Sonic fans have it worse on here. But anyway, it's coming up on 2 a.m. where I am, and it seems like the noise has settled down, so, you know, Happy New Year. That's the main reason why I was streaming, like I said. I needed an excuse to distract myself from the noise. Mostly gunshots around where I live, but, you know. Yeah, we ran through this, and if you enjoyed the speedrun, though, or if you want to get caught up in it, that's what I'm going to be doing all month. Like I said, it's going to be more practice, bite-sized sessions for the first week or two, and then the last couple of weeks, we're going to go real hard on trying to beat my personal best at least. but I'm gonna do it without compromising on strategy. I could beat my personal time pretty easy, I think, if I wanted to, but I would have to do specifically that, which I don't want to take a bunch of safeties and alternate paths just to beat my own time, because the thing I'm trying to do anyway, I don't really care that I'm 7th place. That's better than I thought I would have done with like 2 months of practice, but you know, what I want is 1st place, so that's just what I'm going to strive for anyway, so I'm not really going to worry about trying to move up as much as I'm going to worry about doing better. But I'm going to play a lot, obviously, in this next month, but if you also want more of the usual experience, more chatty, more gameplay stuff, the final gameplay session for this year will also be Syphonfilter, the Omega strain. Played Syphonfilter 1 the first year, Stream 2 and 3 last year, and then this year it's the 4th one on PS2, which is what all those cinematics at the beginning here were. This is the game we'll be playing on Friday. And then yeah, so like our long sessions, our usual like 3-hour streams and stuff like that, our 5 p.m. streams will be this. The 4th entry in the series. It should be done in the first couple of weeks, and then for the last week or two,
This is business. Ivankov has decided to go into business for himself.
I warned you the man was another Stalin. There's nothing I can do.
You and
yeah, the speedrun will take over that, and that's when we'll be making our long attempts, but like I said, the noises settled down, so I'm gonna finish my dinner from a little earlier. Probably watch a little TV for a good half hour and go to bed and go to work again tomorrow, but in something like 10 or so hours though, because I want to get a hop on it pretty quick, I'm gonna run at least like the first couple of stages. When I say short, I mean literally like 20 or 30 minute streams. So, you know, if you can catch them, great. If not, you know what I mean? It's just bite-sized stuff for that daily stuff. But the 2 or 3 times a week, though, we'll still be getting our long sessions. Omega Strain first, and then the speedrun will take over. So, come back for that, and as for next year, like I said, you know, there might be some Zelda, probably some Sonic, could be anything, could be nothing.
We may all be in grave danger. My preliminary findings suggest.
And yeah, Happy New Year's. I hope you come back to the channel. I hope you stick around for the speedrun.
Thanks, Teresa.
And especially on those big nights, it'll be more the usual hours. You don't have to worry about this late night stuff.
You investigate the outbreak in Italy.
And if it is, it'll
Leon
probably
and I
be
will go
stuff
to
like Risk of
Uganda.
Rain and
Everyone
something
will be
else,
briefed
but
individually on their
we'll figure it
assignment.
out as we go. And just thanks again,
Hey, you
and
guys,
Happy New Year.
I know you don't want to hear it, but I need information as soon as you get it. Check in once in a while.
That means you, Stone.
Whatever you say, darling.
I'll make sure he pipes in.
Thanks, Alima. Get going.
What?
Leave Imani alone.
What are you standing around for? Head to your locker and get loaded up.